Hello everybody and welcome to Mining Modern. I'm Corbin Hostler and this week we are showing off a Caleb Durward special. That's right, this deck right here, Red-Green Rhythm of the Wild. It kind of looks like a Ponza deck, but it's not, I promise you. Instead, it's 28 creatures in Rhythm of the Wild, the all-star enchantment from Ravnica Allegiance. Gives all of your creatures riot. Our opponent's going to have some riot, some riotous starts here. Sakura Tribe Scout, that means Amulet Titan. This deck is very good. I want to record with this deck, but I'm scared to play it, to be quite honest. But let's see what we can do with our own hand here, because with what we've got going on here, we can actually have a pretty fast hand. So look at this. This is neat. We can play our Lotus Cobra right now, play the Windswept Teeth, actually use the mana from this. I'll go ahead and always yes on this. We'll get some green mana here. So a couple options. I could save it. If I just use that for Utopia Sprawl, the next turn I'd untap, and I would have 1-2 with the Cobra, 3-4-5. That's not enough for Inferno Titan. But if I draw land, I'll have enough for Inferno Titan anyway, so I may as well, in that case, have a... This is actually going to work out really well for us, to be quite honest. I'm going to get a Stomping Ground here, shock it in. Now we get to add another color of mana. I'm going to add red for this one. I'm going to add green. Now I'm going to Utopia Sprawl both of these onto a Stomping Ground. That uses our green mana. And now we have one red mana left. That's enough to kill the Sakura Tribe Scout. So look at that. Pretty sick turn out of us. It's turn 2. And we just dang near emptied our hand right there. Our opponent playing their crazy combo deck. It's their you know, not combo piece, I suppose, but enabler bolted. We get a Lotus Cobra in play, but more importantly, any land off the top of our deck means we have Inferno Titan, which is pretty nuts by itself. And anything else, hopefully, as long as it's not another Inferno Titan, means we can play it. So here we go. All right, Lotus Cobra it is. So that was obviously one of the more unexciting ones, especially when our opponent has the turn 2 Amulet of Vigor over there. But do what you can do. All right, play it all Cobra. That was one of the less exciting draws, but hey, that's the risk you run when you have a deck that looks like this. So if that was a land and we had this Inferno Titan, that would have been pretty disgusting. But maybe our opponent doesn't have anything too crazy over there, but with the Amulet of Vigor, they can pretty much start going off. That is how that deck works. Ancient Stirrings to lead. If they find another Amulet, I found a Walking Ballista. Well, that's pretty good against us too. Just make a couple mana, play a bounce land. Oh man, Ballista pretty disgusting against us. So I think we're gonna have one turn here, and that's assuming our opponent, you know, doesn't just go for the value Ballista even or something crazy over there. I don't know what to expect, but we're gonna have one turn to try to hit a land for this Inferno Titan, I think, before we just lose our board to a giant Ballista, or our opponent just doing sort of the natural combo off with Amulet. They Summoner's Pact for Primeval Titan. Primeval Titan gets, it's crazy, Slayer's Stronghold and Boros Garrison. They untap with the Amulet of Vigor. Amulet of Vigor says when a permanent enters battlefield under your control tapped, you untap it. So then you use the mana from the Boros Garrison, and to activate your Slayer's Stronghold, give the Primeval Titan haste. You then go get like Sunhome Fortress of the Legion, I think, or something, and a Vesuva, and now you do the same thing, and now you give your thing double strike, and I don't know. In the end of the day, it's like a 16-point swing or a 20-point swing or just something really stupid with Primeval Titan. So it's a pretty crazy deck, pretty complicated deck, one of the coolest decks in Modern, but that would explain why my opponent is taking so long over there. And in the end, they do just go for the value Ballistas. What are they going to shoot? Because, you know, this actually doesn't change anything for me here. It's still land gives me an Inferno Titan, so here we go. Come on, deck. Oh my gosh. Well, alright, Arbor Elf. Arbor Elf means Inferno Titan next turn, if we're somehow still in the game. Don't really know what sideboard we have for this either. Kind of hard to sideboard against their deck. We had basically the perfect start for us. We were just one mana short of slamming this Titan down. My opponent going very slowly over there too. That's the sad part. Yeah, they have nothing. I guess I'm actually gonna play my Inferno Titan here, and maybe even a Bloodbraid with it. I got quite a bit of mana. Give it a shot. Spin the wheel here. So what is this? 6, 7, 8? Oh, that's not enough. What would we hit off the Bloodbraid? Something that gave us mana? Probably not, right? Now I got to play the Inferno Titan while I can. Bloodbraid hopefully will come down next turn and help us finish it off. See if we can get lucky. I mean, you know, we're at 15. That is, I guess, certainly within range of our opponent possibly killing us. On the other hand, there at 11, we have an Inferno Titan. That's a lot of damage. We have a Bloodbraid Elf next turn. We can pump a bunch of mana into the Inferno Titan fire breathing ability if we really want. But we'll see. It's going to be a lot less about what we can do. I mean, I'm going to play Bloodbraid Elf and I'm going to turn all my creatures sideways and hope that I win. But it's all about what my opponent does on their turn over there right now. Amulet of Vigor, Gemstone Mines with, I guess, only one counter on each. So if they tap them for mana, they are going to go away. Something tells me that's not going to end up being too big of a concern for them. They have 1 green in their pool thanks to the Coalition Relic. A commander play if I've ever seen one. Alright, 1 Gemstone Mine down. Green and, well, just kidding, it's back. The Magic Online fake out. Send it to the graveyard, pull it right back. You have the power of the program. Don't ever let it tell you differently. Alright, so Simic Growth Chamber. That's going to untap. So they're up to 4 mana now. They've used a land drop for the turn. So as long as there's, you know, they're out, as long as there's no Azusa or whatever. But here comes Summoner's Pact. This probably gets the Titan. Yeah, there comes the Primeval Titan. So they have the Slayer Stronghold. Yeah, this is going to get kind of ugly for us. The Slayer Stronghold is out there. Now they can get a Boros Garrison, activate it, and whatever else they choose to do. Probably just another bounce land. Not great for us. That said, depending on what the Bloodbraid hits, maybe. You know, something like Bloodbraid Lightning Bolt even might be good enough just as an extra 6 points of damage. But actually, I think that may... I mean, that does actually look like it would be enough if the Arbor Elf and the Lotus Cover got through and the Inferno Titan was blocked but dealt 3 to the face on the attack. That's what we're looking for. But I think we might just be dead, so it might not matter. All right, here comes the Primeval Titan. So I think it's going to be 16. I think it's going to be... So, exactly. Oh my gosh, guess I shouldn't have shocked myself earlier. I can't even throw the birds in front of it to preserve lethal here. I have to throw my Titan in front of it. And I just get blown out by the double strike. Poor plays. Maybe. I say that. I have no idea what my opponent's actually doing. Maybe that's not the case here. It looks like maybe my opponent is going to... Oh, they're going to Ghost Quarter my Stomping Ground. Okay, that's good to know for game 2. And that honestly, that might kind of hurt. Alright, so I could trade with this thing right now. Is that actually an appealing play? No, because my opponent still has to block or they die, so there's no reason to... I'll just take the 8 here. I guess. Let's see what my opponent Ghost Quarters. They have to pay for a pack still on their next turn. Ooh, Deus of Calamity. That'd be sweet if I... Alright, so if you're doing this in my draw step, that's inconvenient for me. I guess I can... I can fire breathe my Inferno Titan, right? So unfortunately I did not hit a land, so I'm not even going to be able to play the Bloodbraid. A little tilting, to be honest. No, we haven't... Wait, this might work. This might work. No point using the Lotus Cover ability. We're going to lose the mana in our main phase. But, actually, we have this Arbor Elf. This might still work. We have... Yeah, there's no reason not to do this, right? I mean, we'll slam the Bloodbraid and just see what happens, I guess. Fingers crossed. I don't even know what I want to hit. I don't really think Tireless Tracker was it, but whatever. Alright, now we turn the team sideways. Is this enough? I guess it actually makes my opponent have something here. because they have to block the Inferno Titan with the Primeval Titan or they're dead. Okay. That means they take 5 from the Bloodbraid and the Lotus Cobra. They go down to 5. We pass the turn. They don't have a Titan. Now they have to pay for the Summoner's Pact. That's going to eat up 4 of their mana. Do they actually have a way out of this? I mean, they might. All they need is another Titan. They have the Slayer's Stronghold. And the fact they just, went to pains to not tap it there doesn't bode well for me. But I guess it depends if they have enough mana to get there. I can put 2 toughness in front of it. That's probably not enough. I mean, even if at a minimum, if it was an 8 damage trampler, well, that actually would be enough. That would mean I'd take 6, go down to 1. Now, this is going to be an interesting choice here, I guess. My opponent has 5 cards in hand. They have access to, honestly, who knows how much mana over there, an Amulet Titan player with an Amulet in play. But if there was a chance for us to steal the game, it had to go something like this. And after Sideboard, we get to play Trinispheres, I guess. Those are good against the Summoner's Pacts, at least. All right, Engineered Explosives on 3, huh? And that kills the Tireless Tracker. But you're still just dead. Did we do it? I think we actually did it. The old Lotus Cobra beatdown got there. All right, that's why I love Modern. Okay. Cindervines. Yes, please, I would like Cindervines. I would like to be able to destroy those amulets. I would like these Blood Moons as well. Ancient Grudges. Yeah, sure, why not? And Trinispheres? Trinisphere, even on turn 2, is less good against them, I think. Because they, yeah, I don't know. It just seems kind of, it's basically only good against the amulets, which are going to come down, probably on the first turn or whatever. Or it's good against the Pacts. Huh. Let's start by cutting cards. Let's start there, right? Deus of Calamity, I love it. And actually destroying lands is kind of sweet, but it's probably not better than Inferno Titan. But because it's so much fun, I'm going to keep some of them around here. I actually just don't need Tireless Trackers at all. To be quite honest, they are a card advantage engine, and I don't think we need card advantage here. It's interesting because my opponent does play sweepers and stuff, so that actually is a real thing. So maybe we cut those white-bordered birds here. We get a Tireless Tracker in here. Okay, so the question is, in addition to the Cindervines here, do I want the Ancient Grudges? And the answer to that is probably not. Maybe 1. What's that allow me to do? Is that lets me get a Trinisphere back in? It gets me a Trinisphere in if I wanted another tracker. If I wanted it. I'm a big fan of the 1-ofs. Why not? We're here recording for fun. If I get to draw my opening hand, we get to see how they work. And instead, that's not quite the case. But this hand is still pretty reasonable for me. Turn 1, Utopia Sprawl. Turn 2, Cindervines. Turn 3, Bloodbraid Elf. That's not terrible. And depending, if things go absolutely crazy, then on turn 3, we can pop the Cindervines instead, if that's what we need to do. We'll see. My opponent, of course, being on the play, they could have crazy things. It's very rare, and I don't even know the sequence that, it requires to make it happen. I'm sure it involves 2 or 3 amulets, but there's a turn 2 kill possible for that deck. All right, we'll keep. Oh, wow, and they have no play on the first turn. That's got to be good for us. There's another Utopia Sprawl. I'm definitely down for that. We'll name red for this one. Also note, we got it on a basic this time, so Ghost Quarter, I believe, can hit. Yeah, Ghost Quarter can hit any land, but for other purposes, it might matter. I'm not sure what all they're running these days over there. Take a Ghost Quarter of my own right now. Okay, so what am I going to do here? I'm just going to go ahead and fetch. And actually watch my life total this time because I guess it does matter. I'll fetch. I will Utopia Sprawl again here, naming green this time, I suppose. We'll play our Cindervines out. So, okay, so we're gonna pass the turn and just see what our opponent thinks about this. I mean, the fact they just went turn 1 nothing, turn 2 bounce land. Not exactly terrifying, and there's a Coalition Relic, and I guess I'll be put to the test a little bit. But now, at least, I have the option to play the Bloodbraid Elf and pop the Cindervines if I need to, if, say, I Bloodbraided into another Cindervines. There's a Birds. So we're not close to getting any value off this Nykthos yet. Alright, let's Bloodbraid Elf and see what happens here. Maybe something good. Blood Moon, perhaps? In fact, I should go ahead and fetch here, huh? Not that it super matters, but just in case. An Arbor Elf, huh? Yeah, I guess I'll take it. It certainly makes a lot of mana we don't need next turn. Alright, so now we do face the question, do I use the Cindervines to blow up the Coalition Relic? The answer is, I think, yes. I think, especially given that our hand is just doing nothing here, we're just trying to beat down with this Arbor Elf, we just have to slow our opponent down as much as possible. And if that means blowing up a Coalition Relic, it means blowing up a Coalition Relic. And we're gonna have to hit something. We were never gonna win the game if we didn't hit something here. So, yeah, may as well blow the Cindervines. And now my opponent with the extra land drops, thanks to Azusa there, definitely gonna make the most of that. They have Primeval Titan mana, so this is the turn we need to draw something. Yeah, Rhythm of the Wild, huh? Okay, well, you know what I can do. And I'm not above doing it. I will play this Birds of Paradise with a 1/1 counter on it. You better believe I'll play this Birds of Paradise with a 1/1 counter on it. It's 1 damage we're going to attack for next turn. Alright, so, you know, the thing is, this isn't good for us. It's clearly, I mean, probably terrible for us, right? On the other hand, this is about as bad of a Primeval Titan as my opponent could have. There's no Amulet in play. Yeah, I mean, look at this. There's no Amulet in play. These aren't going to untap. They're not a problem until next turn. If I were to draw, say, Inferno Titan off the top of my deck, I can give the thing haste. I can just shoot the Primeval Titan down with it and probably just win the game on the spot. So, you know, to be quite honest, as dire as this game looks, and we're certainly in a lot of trouble, and well, that Ghost Quarter might get us. I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, you know what? We're still alive. No, we're still alive there. That's okay. If we hit. In fact, my opponent just improved my draw step because it's Inferno Titan or bust, I think, for us right here. But fingers crossed. Ancient Grudge, huh? This is what happens when you play the fun ofs. All right, well, that's certainly not ideal. Guess we get on in there with his Birds of Paradise. And see what our opponent does. I mean, the same thing is true. If we don't die, you know, we could draw. And my opponent doesn't, you know, they don't have an Amulet, and they're not going to have an Amulet thanks to this Ancient Grudge we have. So, honestly, we might get another draw step at this. It does, of course, depend on what they have, but yeah, if it's just the Titan coming in, this doesn't worry me at all. This isn't even a problem until next turn. As far as I understand, anyways. All right, so okay, they get the Kabira Crossroads. This is interesting. I love this. They get Kabira Crossroads to gain 2 life. They also get the Talaria West. Now they pick up Talaria West with the Simic Growth Chamber. So you can then spend 3 mana to transmute the Talaria West for a card near the deck. Or, as they actually did here, they just picked up the Kabira Crossroads and replayed it to gain 2 more life. So, I mean, Inferno Titan is still our out because it'll actually kill the Primeval Titan, but I think that's probably all the chance we're going to have here. I'm going to blow up this Coalition Relic for good measure, at least. Also remove another card from our deck. All right, here we go. This is definitely our last shot at this, I think. I mean, heck, maybe it's not, but it's probably our last shot at this. Inferno Titan off the top, please. Tireless Tracker, huh? Well, is that good? Okay, I hate to say it, but are we actually not dead because my opponent gained all this life instead? I guess if they have a bounce land in hand, they could go get the double strike thing, but right now, I don't think they have a way to put the double strike land into play untapped, so for all I know, I'm going to get value off of this thing. Should I give it haste? Should probably just give the thing haste, right? I mean, gotta get as much damage in as possible, I suppose. Okay, we'll get our clue as well. Oh my gosh, my opponent has Path to Exile? Huh. I can't say I expected that, but that's good to know. Get our last basic out. Well, I do have a clue still. I guess that doesn't change the plan. It makes the plan a lot worse, but it doesn't change the plan. We'll get in there for the 4 we can with these 2 creatures, and I guess cross our fingers that our opponent doesn't have a way to give the Primeval Titan double strike. They were top decking, and that's only 8 damage right there. We'll see what they get with this, but if these lands come into play tapped, I don't know that we're dead. I mean, our deck is just, you were giving so many chances here to draw this Inferno Titan to try to steal this game. And my opponent is, again, I think is just playing slowly here. Now, they do have another bounce land, so they got an extra blocker out of the Colony Garden. Now they can pick up the Talaria West and transmute it this turn even. So, but they can only do that as a sorcery, so take 8, take 9. Seems all the same to me. I'm a little confused by the Azusa attack unless I'm missing something here, but I don't think I am. No blocks. Primeval Titan has trample. Alright, we're at 2 life. Let's see if we get... And the crazy thing is, if we're not dead here, my opponent can go get a Vesuva, I think, here. They could copy the Kabira Crossroads and gain another 10 life, or another 2 life. They could copy the Colony Garden. They got another Summoner's Pact instead. So they could just pact for another Titan, I guess. That certainly makes our plan much worse, but I actually don't know that it quite changes things. I think an Inferno Titan would still do it. Maybe not. In fact, it probably wouldn't because this Titan is, oh. Well, that will do it. Okay. Fair enough, I suppose. Let's see what our clue has in store for us. Oh, Wooded Foot. Oh, the trolling from last week is back. The Wooded Foothills. Oh, okay. All right, fair enough. On to game 3. I guess Inferno Titan's just the best possible finisher. I mean, I was right. The tracker wasn't very good. The Trinisphere wouldn't have been very good either, though. It would have been fine, but wouldn't have been very good. I got a Bolt. It's a Bolt or a Grudge. I mean, they do have some of the early creatures we want to kill. That, or I just cut like the tracker. Or a Rhythm. I could cut a Rhythm. I'll give that a shot, I guess. I definitely don't want to draw more than 1 Rhythm. Alright, I'm into this hand. And this, if our opponent doesn't have like an Engineered Explosives on 1 here, I can definitely get behind this hand. And it actually makes drawing a Utopia Sprawl off the top of our deck insane here, because then we could play this Bloodbraid Elf on turn 2. I would definitely be into that. But we'll see here. Alright, so it's a Ghost Quarter for our opponent. We have access to 3 mana here, and there's the Inferno Titan. So, alright, I'll play Arbor Elf number 2. I'll even get an attack in with this Arbor Elf here. We actually have, I guess, a little bit of things to be concerned about here. Trust me, I really just want to play as Days of Calamity next turn. I guess I can do that, but with this Windswept Teeth, we have access to exactly 1 red source right now. And that being a Stomping Ground. If our opponent were to Ghost Quarter that, little do they know, we don't have any basic mountains in the deck to go fetch. Just 5 forests. So cutting us off from red mana would be a bit of a disaster, but I'm hoping that even if it just means, yeah, they're actually going to tap their land here. So yeah, this is going to make this game really interesting. There's a Growth Chamber. They get to pick up the Ghost Quarter. Yeah. They might have a very powerful turn next turn. That would be, of course, the biggest concern here. See what we hit. Utopia Sprawl will be good. Alright, Verdant Catacombs, huh? All right, so options are play Bloodbraid, and there is some benefit to that. A lot of the things we could hit off Bloodbraid would mess up their plan. That or play the card that if they don't kill it next turn, we win the game. I think that's the one I'm going to go with. I'm just going to play this Deus of Calamity, make my opponent answer it. It is a beast. It is a 6/6 monster. And if it deals 6 or more combat damage to an opponent, it destroys one of their lands. So my opponent with that Simic Growth Chamber to Amulet of Vigor, they are set up to try to do something big here. But the problem for them is they could, if they have it, have a hasty Primeval Titan. But with just a turn 2 Amulet and no enabler here, no extra land drop, we don't see an Azusa yet. There wasn't a Sakura Tribe Scout or anything on the first turn. It's going to be hard for them to do anything too crazy. And the danger for them is if they don't answer the Deus of Calamity immediately and it does get a swing, it's either going to, I guess, trade with a Primeval Titan. But even that is a best case scenario for them. So, and here, oh my, yeah. All they have, we see the Azusa and they have the bounce land. So my opponent desperately needs one of their cards to be a path. That is what they're looking for here. But even then, they're still in a little bit of trouble because they're up to 4 mana, I suppose. What is this? I mean, they could definitely get to 6. I don't know how this crazy stuff works. I guess I would need something to give them multiple. Another Azusa, maybe. I'm not sure how that works. I don't know. We'll see. They're definitely thinking it through. They have the white mana, so they have the path. They're okay, but if they don't, they're in a lot of trouble. And even if they do, I'm going to have an Inferno Titan here, and I'm going to use that to blow up the Azusa. And then we'll have a pressure on their life after that. So, we could also, hit something to get the Amulet of Vigor. If we hit a Utopia Sprawl, that would be pretty sick. I believe that would allow us to do some silly things. It's my opponent has moved to their second main phase. Are they really going to pass the turn here? No, they're going to Pact in their second main phase. All right, I'm interested to see where this is going. They did get they got a Primeval Titan and they scooped. Is that? Yep. All right, fair enough. They couldn't do it. See, they couldn't do it. Even if and I guess the plan for them would have been to chump block with the Azusa so that they don't lose a land to the Deus of Calamity. They just get trampled over for 4. And then next turn they could play Primeval Titan. And then they could go off with the Primeval Titan. The only problem for them is that we would have played our own Inferno Titan, or more likely, I guess, drawing that, I would have Bloodbraid Elfed and bolted the Azusa and then got in with the Deus of Calamity, destroyed a land. That would have been all she wrote. So, great game, everybody. There you go. Pretty sweet Rhythm of the Wild deck that Caleb Durward showed off, took to a 5-0 finish. I'm really happy to be able to shout it out and get to play it for you all here. That was a lot of fun, everybody. So, I'm Corbin Hostler. This is Mighty Modern. Let's play some more and see what we can do. Hello, everybody. Here we go with some more of this really sweet Gruul Rhythm of the Wild deck, and I am all about this hand. I really wish I were on the play, but Arbor Elf Utopia Sprawl, that's what dreams are made of, folks. Especially with the payoff right there with Primeval Titan. So, Shriekhorn from our opponent, playing up against Dredge here. We do have Relic of Progenitus in our sideboard. Might want to be Surgicals if, you have your Surgicals. If you don't, I would suggest budget options of Relics or basically anything else, because Lord knows it is expensive for Surgicals right now. So fair enough. Not that that's what this series is about, but I will say that the difference between Surgical and something like Relic is kind of a big deal against Izzet Phoenix. Against something like Dredge, it's not that big of a deal, but specifically for Izzet Phoenix, it is something you have to be concerned about. All right, so that said, let's move on here. We can get a basic forest right now, save a little bit of life at least, go with the Arbor Elf, and hope that next turn our opponent doesn't go too crazy with Dredge here. They don't have a Conflagrate to blow us out. I mean, that's coming at some point, I assume. Oh my gosh, 2 Blood Gas into the yard with that Shriekhorn, huh? That wasn't a Dredge creature, at least. Don't worry, they did that with the upkeep mill on the Shriekhorn. See, that's when you just know it's not really your time. It's not really your day. We lost the dice roll, and our opponent with a pretty good top 4 cards milled into their graveyard. So, all right, let's see what it is next. Faithless Looting with a Stinkweed in the graveyard, huh? So the actual just like perfect draw here from Dredge. Let's see how crazy they go. That looks like 2 Creeping Chills and an Narcomoeba. By my count, we're up to 10 free mana this turn. That's why if you ever, sometimes people look at Dredge and they're like, wow, they got a 1/1 Narcomoeba. That's so good. How broken. Ooh, they Lightning Helix you. That's cool. You're at 20 and they Lightning Helix you, but you have to understand, you just start counting the mana. I mean, this is actually kind of insane. This is I'm happy for the Dredge player over here living the dream, because this is kind of unreal. So to recap, there's a lot of triggers we got to click through here, but to recap, my opponent, they got 10 free mana off the Narcomoeba and the Creeping Chills, 8 free mana off the Blood Gas, another 6 free mana off the Amalgams, I believe. They're going to Dark Blast my elf on top of it. Wow. Kudos. That's awesome. How many Amalgams are in the graveyard? That's all I want to know. Is it just 1 with a billion triggers? That's 2. Okay, so that's hilarious. 24 mana on turn 2 my opponent made with their Dredge deck. So what do you think? You think we draw the Wood Foothills? You think we're going to come back in the game? Which is so crazy, too, because we were actually set up to, we're going to have a turn 3 Inferno Titan. Would have been pretty nice. But we have died. Sometimes you get nut drawn by Dredge. That's why it's the best deck in the format right now. All right, we get the Scavenging Oozes in here. Get the Relic of Progenitus in here. The Deus of Calamity is definitely worse than the Inferno Titan. Inferno Titan, what we want more than anything here. Tracker's pretty medium. Let's see here. We're going ahead and cut 1 Birds of Paradise. So the question is, do I want things like Ancient Grudge or Cindervines? I don't think I want Cindervines. I don't really think I want Blood Moon. They don't really need mana to operate. The question is Trinisphere, and I don't know the answer, honestly. I don't know. I haven't played enough to know. I mean, we have a lot of cheap spells ourselves. It does hit a lot of what they do, but on the other hand, it can just kind of not matter that much, depending on when we have it. But you know what? I'm going to cut a Rhythm. I'll play a couple Trinispheres here. See what happens. The Rhythms, as much as I love it, I mean, it's why we're playing the deck. It's really cool. But in this matchup, they're not really what we're looking for. However, I am into this hand. This is the kind of hand, I guess, we're going to find out if Trinisphere is good against Dredge. We're going to find out in this game, because I should have it on turn 2, along with an Arbor Elf and a Utopia Sprawl. So this hand looks pretty good for us. Don't currently have a path to the Deus of Calamity, but I'm sure we'll get there. This was when I started playing right here around Shadowmoor. Shortly after Shadowmoor came out, I always thought it was called Deus of Calamity at first. It is in fact called, I believe it's Deus or Deus. It's a spirit avatar. I don't know. The more you know. All right, my opponent shocking themselves with a Stomping Ground. And Thinking. I guess that means we're not getting Dark Blasted. So that's good. The Dark Blast was definitely the insult to injury in that last game. Trust me, I appreciate it from a style perspective, though. Oh my gosh, we are getting it. All right, there's a Lightning Axe. Of course, getting the Stinkweed into the graveyard, but we hit a Cobra. The problem is that actually gives us kind of an awkward choice here. No, this is fine. All right, so we're going to go ahead and pay the 2 life. Utopia Sprawl this Stomping Ground. I will choose green. I will play a Lotus Cobra. So, all right. It's not going to be a turn 2 Trinisphere. Could be a turn 3 Trinisphere. I mean, heck, if we had a fetch land, we'd have a turn 3 Deus here. I mean, this hand could still work out very well for us. There's the Faithless Looting from our opponent. Let's see if they whiff on the Stinkweed Imp. They definitely could. If the top 5 are not good cards to Dredge right now, unfortunately for us, they were not bad. All right, so that's okay, though. I mean, look, our opponent actually missed their land drop. Now we're getting the turn back. Well, this could work. Scavenging is pretty tempting, but honestly, I mean, it is really too... Nah, but heck. Nothing matters here. We're playing Trinisphere. I mean, like I said, I don't know if this is always... I mean, it's a Life from the Loam deck, so I don't know if, like, Trinisphere is always the axis you want to be fighting on against Dredge, but you know what? On the play with our opponent missing a land drop here, it works out just fine because now they can't do anything. They can't flash back their Faith. They can't play another Faithless Loom. They can never flash it back, but they need 3 mana to do anything here, and that means they are reduced to naturally drawing cards off the top of their deck, and we have a Scavenging Ooze to follow here, so... We actually might have just stolen the game with the Trinisphere here, which makes me like it in game 3. You know, we might have a hand that can put it out there on turn 2. And that's probably what we want to try to lean on. But yeah, now the Scavenging is for our opponents. I can just start eating their graveyard for what it matters. But I'll hit the Dark Blast and the Stinkweed Imp because we can. Alright, they did find a land though, City of Brass. At least it's one that does them damage. I can't stop the Bloodghast from coming back, but fortunately it can't block, and we can definitely erase it. So that's not an issue in and of itself. My opponent still can't cast anything. They need 3 mana to do anything. They're stuck at 2. Alright, let's see if we can hit a land myself so I can add a Lotus Cobra to my board. In fact, hitting land would be very good here. I could play Lotus Cobra, then play the land. And what is my opponent doing here? They're putting mana in the pool. They're dealing damage to themselves with the City of Brass. They shouldn't, to my knowledge, be able to cast anything. I don't know if they're trying to cast, like, something to discard cards, maybe. If they thought maybe they could... It was get countered, but that's not how it works. You just can't cast it. So those cards are stuck in your hand. And there is a Stomping Ground. That can add me up to 3 mana. I can get a lot of it back. I'm going to go ahead and... Well, depending on how I want to play this here, I don't even have to shock it in. I can still eat the Stinkweed Imp in the Dark Blast. Maybe I'm supposed to be more concerned about the Faithless Looting. I'm not sure. I mean, I could just shock it in, take the 2 extra damage, and get rid of all of them, which, I mean, why not, I suppose. Alright, so we'll add some green mana with all of these here. We will eat the Stinkweed Imp. We get some life for that one as well, so that's nice. We'll eat the Dark Blast. I don't want that thing getting dredged back here. And we'll eat the Faithless Looting. Not that, you know, I assume my opponent has another one in their hand anyways, but we may as well. And now we'll get in for 5 damage. My opponent can't block. It puts him down to 8. So we actually have lethal next turn. If they can't string together any blockers here, because the 2 Lotus Cobras and Scavenging Ooze being able to eat the Arbor Elf out of our own graveyard to pump itself up to 4 power, that equals 8. That's what our opponent's at. So keep in mind, they had to top deck a land here to even be able to cast a spell. So that's step 1 for them, is top decking a land. They didn't do it. On to game 3. All right, so Trinispheres were pretty good there. Tracker's still going to be pretty bad. Blood Moon still seems pretty mediocre. I mean, like, it's a Life from the Loam deck. They can function... I mean, I don't know. Deus of Calamity seems pretty bad on the draw, though. Now, I do have to worry about, you know, not having good things to ramp into. That is a legitimate concern for us. In fact, it's basically just Inferno Titans right now. But I think that's just the role we're going to accept. Maybe I could cut a Bolt. Bolt's definitely pretty medium. I'll get a Deus of Calamity in here. Let's just give me a 5th finisher, right? Even if it's not as good as an Inferno Titan. But the thing is, it's a matchup where it's okay to kind of shave numbers and have weird-looking numbers, I think, because our deck is sort of, we want to draw the ramp, we want to draw the payoff, and we want to put those 2 things together. And so it's kind of weird. Your numbers can be fine. You already kind of just need to draw the right halves anyway. So just having a 5th finisher can matter. So this hand, however, is a mulligan. Ship it and keep this. I mean, ooh, and a relic on top. All right. All right, I'm in. So if my opponent doesn't go just absolutely bonkers over there on the first turn. I say that, commence going bonkers right now. Just, okay, so just casting the Conflict Radiant, get it into the graveyard, huh? Well, that's actually going to be kind of unfortunate for them because I'm just going to play this Relic of Progenitus, and before I pass the turn, I'm simply going to tap it and make them exile a card from their graveyard. So Conflict Rate just gone. Just gone forever right there. And yeah, I understand that I held off playing an Arbor Elf there, but you know, we're on track unless we were to rip a Utopia Sprawl for a turn 3 Bloodbraid anyways. And we don't change that by leading with the Relic there. So we may as well take out the Conflict Rate while we can. And now my opponent is hugging away Cathartic Reunion, and it begins. It is turn 2 after all. All right, so I think we actually really kind of got lucky, to be quite honest. Look at that. So my opponent has an Amalgam, 2 Amalgams in their graveyard, a Bloodghast, and a Dark Blast. I mean, and a Faithless Looting. They put a lot of work into that, to be quite honest, and I'm just going to crack the Relic now. I'll even hit the forest I needed to play this Arbor Elf. So, okay, I mean, I didn't necessarily expect it to play out like that, and it could have been a disaster if my opponent had a Narcomoeba there as well, but they didn't. And that means that their graveyard is gone. That's a lot of their threats are gone. They hit an Ancient Grudge. That doesn't matter to me. We've already got value, and the next piece of value we're going to get is going to be Scavenging Ooze based, if not Bloodbraid. All depends on how scary my opponent does here. They do shock themselves down to 17. They have a Dark Blast over there. Oh, man, this is so rough for them. Just a Life from the Loam, huh? Yeah, this is just, frankly, frankly, a little bit of a disaster for my opponent right now, because I'm just going to play the Scavenging Ooze. And they might just scoop to this, to be quite honest, because we're going to use the Scavenging Ooze to eat the Life from the Loam. There goes their Dredger next turn. Now we're going to use the Scavenging Ooze to eat the Ancient Grudge. Not that the Ancient Grudge was anything I particularly cared about, but it is gone forever now. So my opponent, again, back to square one here. We're in their main phase, and they got nothing. They scoop it up. There you go, everybody. Is Dredge the most broken deck in the format? Quite possibly, but it is beatable with sideboard cards, and they don't have to be surgical. Everybody, that was awesome. Thank you for watching Red-Green Rhythm of the Wild. Let's see if we can take down one more here today. This has been a lot of fun. Hey everybody, here we go. This hand is, I won't lie, a little bit risky here. We have the one land only, but with double birds and Utopia Sprawl, should be able to work out okay for us to get some mana going. If we draw a second land, we could be looking at actually a pretty explosive turn 3 here. My opponent shocking themselves down to 17 to lead with a Hallowed Fountain. Oh my gosh. And a Nivmagus Elemental, huh? I don't know that I can beat this card. So there's that. I did not hit a land. This is so stupid. I'm going to Lightning Bolt this card and hope that my opponent doesn't have a Phyrexian Mana spell to exile to this and make it a 3/4, because then I'll probably just die to it. Maybe I'm supposed to, they do. Oh my gosh, a Pact of Negation. Okay, so yeah, the way this works, everyone, they play the Pact of Negation. Pact of Negation is on the stack. That means it's an instant or a sorcery that can be exiled to Nivmagus Elemental to put 2 counters on it. So now it's a 3/4, and our Lightning Bolt doesn't kill it. So maybe I was supposed to ignore it, but it definitely felt like a situation where this is the only opportunity we're going to get to kill it. This game could be very easy if we kill it. We should give it a shot, because, I mean, we'll see here. Look, my opponent, they have all these copy spells. The Giga Draws makes it a 5/6. We're getting hit by a 5/6 on turn 2 here. My opponent doesn't have anything else, though. Unfortunately, neither do we. I mean, we can take a couple hits from it. The problem is they play lots. I don't know. They hit a second land. That's pretty bad for us. Usually, I thought this deck was red, ran things like Ground Rift. This blue-white version, I'm not too clear on, but it's kind of sweet. As for us, I mean, we were never going to win the game if we didn't hit a second land. I do think the keep was super reasonable. It's unfortunate that bolt play didn't work out. Maybe I was better off ignoring it. This turn I could have played out everything. We just would have taken whatever we took and maybe kind of been in the same position here and just had a wasted Lightning Bolt in our hand rather than a wasted Lightning Bolt in the graveyard. maybe that was better. On the other hand, you know, if that lightning bolt resolves, if our opponent was being a little greedy and was just trying to, you know, to get one over on us or whatever by just playing it and just trying to pop off on turn 2 and hope that we didn't have anything, then we could have just won the game. That's pretty reasonable to think as well. So they had to have a 0-cost spell there, which they did. And now, by the way, they have a 9. Oh, they let that one resolve. So they have a 7/8 Nivmagus Elemental coming in and out of sun, knocking us down to 6 life. 3 cards in their hand, huh? All right, let's see if we find a... Did not find a land. Found a useless lightning bolt. All right, I guess I'll do this. There's not a lot of things we can beat here. I guess the plan is to play the Birds of Paradise and pass the turn here with the plan to chump block the Nivmagus Elemental if possible, and then I guess hope to untap into a land and play. Then our hope is to chump block with the Tireless Tracker, but to get a land drop out of it. I mean, that is our plan to win the game, is to just chump block a lot while advancing our board state. So it's not impossible. And looks like, you know, barring a Teamer Battle Rage or whatever, we're going to get at least one chump block off. All right, and we'll even get the turn back here. Can I find a land? I found a land. All right. That means we're going to play Tireless Tracker here. Play the land. And, well, we get a clue out of the deal. I mean, and again, this is all we can hope for, though. And to be honest, I think we're basically going to need to find Blood Braids, because we actually have to find a way to get ahead on the board here. Even playing a Deus of Calamity is just a chump block to the Nivmagus Elemental, and we're dead to anything that removes a blocker. So I do not feel very confident about this one. Safe to say. Between the missed land drop and you know, the risky play that didn't quite work out there, our opponent has played Pact of the Titan on the instep here. So they would get a 4/4 and then lose the game if they... what is going on? They did get a 4/4. Are they going to lose the game in their upkeep now? What is happening? Snapcaster Mage. What do they do? Are they going to play Angel's Grace? Is that what's going to happen? This is going to be an interesting way to die. I certainly don't think they're just trying to find an inventive way to lose the game here. I have a feeling they're going to play Angel's Grace with these lose the game triggers on the stack. Yep. Oh my gosh, my opponent's deck is insane. Okay. So that's clever. That means they don't lose the game and actually die to combat damage. They didn't need the second one, but they did have it. Okay, well, I guess that's a thing that happened. Trinisphere seems good. What the heck? Okay. Nivmagus Elemental, huh? Free spells. They had Snapcaster Mages. Scavenging Oozes, I guess. The Blood Moons don't seem particularly good. The Deus of Calamities honestly don't seem super good. The Trackers seem pretty mediocre themselves. I guess we'll give this a shot. I don't have any clue. I mean, Cindervines is fine. It would definitely do an amount of damage to them, but I'm not sure that it would ever actually hit anything. It's just instant or sorcery, so it's just pinging them for damage. I don't think that's good enough. I think we just want to have a big creature hit them for much larger amounts of damage. Because pinging them for 3 or 4 over the course of the game with Cindervines just isn't going to do much if that means they've put 8 power onto their creature or whatever. Also, maybe they won't have Nivmagus Elemental. That'd be good, right? That was pretty sick, though. They had to... I didn't know. I didn't know if the deck had a bunch of, 1-mana spells and Manamorphoses and stuff like that, or if it was just all in on the free spells, right? And maybe they're playing Gut Shots, Immunogenic Growth, so, hey, maybe they don't have one of those 8 cards or whatever, and this Lightning Bolt will just win me the game. No. They are all in on the free spells. Pact of Negation coming out there. That's actually, if you think about it, it makes sense in their deck. You play Pact of Negation, you can... I guess use it to counter lightning bolts in a situation like that, but it's also really nice on the turn you're trying to go in on your creature and win the game and your opponent has Fatal Push or whatever. You can just literally use Pact of Negation to counter spell the removal spell on your creature. Then I guess the idea is win the game on the spot, and For what it's worth, the deck did have islands. It probably doesn't want to get to 5 mana, but it could to pay for the Pact. All right. We're going to go first this time around. And I'm in. Hand doesn't have anything, you know, super special going for it, but, I mean, it is pretty solid. It's got nice amounts of ramp here. In fact, we're going to have a pretty good turn 2 here, I think. All right, so first place, Stomping Ground, Utopia Sprawl onto the Stomping Ground here. I will choose green. I guess we'll see what my opponent does. We're going to have a nice start to the game here. And if they don't do anything too broken, we might be able to work our way up to a big one if we can find an Inferno Titan or whatever. And hopefully this Bloodbraid it's worse than this deck, I think, especially this version of the deck without the land destruction of the typical Ponza lists. I do think Bloodbraid is a pretty mediocre card. But hey, I mean, free spells are free spells. You take what you can get. So my opponent, again, shocks himself down to 17 here. Do they have the turn 1 Nivmagus Elemental again? I will try again to Lightning Bolt it, but this time work out much better for us being on the play. They do have it. I wonder if the fact they thought about it means if they don't have an answer for the Bolt here. But we are going to find out. Okay, so what we can do here is I can actually lead off with Lotus Cobra. Oh, wow. Okay, so my opponent is going to just... oh, they actually Pactive... What? So my opponent just actually Pactive Negationed my Lotus Cobra? That was a brave move. That means they're going to have to burn an Angel's Grace in their upkeep. Okay, I just have to decide if I want to play Bloodbraid next turn, if I want to try to Lightning Bolt this thing. What the heck? I think I have to bolt it. It's not even like this is an ability that uses a stack. Oh, I guess it is. Exiling it is an ability. I'm just trying to figure out if I can pass the turn here or if I just need to go for it. I guess I should just go for it because it's really all the same. Only bad things are going to happen if I pass the turn. So we'll just give it a shot, and if it backfires on us, it backfires on us. I mean, this is how they got me in game 1. But, again, this Lightning Bolt is going to do something here, or it's never going to do anything. So, we may as well give it a shot. And the fact that my opponent, they tanked for so long on actually playing the Nivmagus Elemental. I mean, I guess they do have something. So, there's not, you know, I maybe shouldn't have read so much into that, but we'll see here. Oh, this is so much worse for us. They actually... Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, things are changing very quickly. They could have saved the Nivmagus Elemental, making it a 3-4. Instead, my opponent, because they have the Angel's Grace to not lose the game here, actually doubled down on the Pacts. Go for it. The actual cast Pact of the Titan. They don't lose the game to Pact Negation. Now they have a 4-4 to attack me with. I mean, I only have 3 mana. If I don't hit land here, we're going to take a fair bit of damage from this thing. For all I know, they have another Nivmagus Elemental to follow it up. No? Okay. Land? Bird's Paradise. All right. Bird's Paradise actually a perfectly fine, reasonable card here. Well, it does look like, you know, barring more shenanigans, but our opponent's deck is basically mono shenanigans, but it looks like if we take 4 this turn, go down to 7. After that, we're going to get untap and play Bloodbraid Elf, and I at least see what happens. I mean, maybe we'll hit a Trinisphere or something nice. Obviously, Trinisphere, a little bit of a anti-combo with Bloodbraid when you have a Trinisphere in play, but it is a nice one to cascade into. Okay, so no clue what's going on for my opponent. They have 3 lands in play. We're moving to combat. I'm going to take the 4 here. At least I hope it's only 4. All right. Down to 7. And pass the turn. Okay. Well, oh my gosh. Okay. In my upkeep, I've been silenced the card Silence. Your opponents can't cast spells this turn. It's a 1-mana white instant. That got me pretty good, to be quite frank. Go down to 3 from the hit this turn. I guess I hope they. This is insane. They're playing Snapcaster too. You're just gonna like Snapcaster Silence me? That would be so sick. I'm not gonna fetch. That they really do have it too. Oh, they just have another Silence. Oh, this is unreal, and I obviously don't have instants, so I just have spells I can't play. I mean, it's basic. I got Time Walked, right? It's like the worst Time Walk ever, but it's a crazy Time Walk here. Slaughter Pact? What a way to lose the game. My opponent's deck is so cool. Blue Surprise, if you are watching on YouTube, if anyone knows who this is or what this list is, please, please, please get this to me. CorbinHostler@gmail.com. See Hostler88 on Twitter and Twitch. Please ship me this list. Because I just died to the Pact of the Titan. Saved by Angel's Grace. Protected by Double Silence. That was unreal. Slaughter Pact at the end. Great match. That was really fun. Cool deck. It's nice when I'm playing a fun, cool deck and I don't have the coolest deck at the table. That was great. Everybody, I'm Corbin Hostler. This was Mighty Modern. As always, thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Mighty Modern. I'm Corbin Hostler, and today we have a Caleb Durward special. That's right. Shout out to Caleb D. I've been watching him compete at the Mythic Invitational. I don't think the tournament went too well for him, unfortunately, but congrats to him for making it, and congrats to him for cooking up this sweet Rhythm of the Wild deck right here. Posted a 5-0 finish in a league with it, and that was enough for me to signal boost it. I'm excited about this. Caleb's a great streamer. You should definitely check it out. But pretty excited to check out this deck too. So we're based around Rhythm of the Wild here. Ravnica Allegiance. Creature spells can't be countered. Non-token creatures you control have riot. So either haste or 1/1 counter all of our creatures. Then you take a pretty good mana ramp shell, sort of the green-red Ponza mana ramp shell of the Arbor Elves and the Utopia Sprawls and the Birds and the Lotus Cobras. All of a sudden you're going to make a bunch of mana. What creatures are good with haste? Well, you know what? Tireless Tracker is pretty solid. Bloodbraid Elf's just always a good card. And how about Deus of Calamity? 5 mana, 6/6 trample. When it deals 6 or more damage to an opponent, destroy target land they control. It has trample. You can give it haste with rhythm. Pretty sweet. Another pretty just disgusting creature with haste. That's Inferno Titan. So everybody, that's the deck. Sideboard, pretty straightforward. You got your Blood Moons, your Ancient Grudge, your Trinisphere for the combo decks. Cindervines, though, this is a nice one for the matchups where you'd want this kind of effect. So everybody, that's the deck. Gruul, Rhythm of the Wild went 5-0 by Caleb Durward last week. Recording with it this week. I'm Corbin Hostler. This is Mighty Modern. Thanks for watching.